Another day, another pair of fabulous overalls, and another day of working in one of the most remote schools in Australia. Today was a beautiful day, so we took the kids outside for morning tea, and how beautiful is this? I'm literally pinching myself that this is where I work. Last week when I was walking back to school after my lunch break, I saw a snake, and ever since then, I've just been trying to run back to school and make as much noise as possible because, Anyway, this is the view from my classroom. Isn't it nice? And then after school, took myself on a little bit of a mental health walk because needed. If you work in schools, you know. And the walk doesn't count unless you touch the fence. Anyway, for dinner, we're having dinosaur chicken nuggets. Well, they're not chicken, they're like fake chicken, but anyway. They're super yummy, and I tried to present them in a way that they looked like they were climbing up a volcano. It kind of worked. It was so yum. It's monthly grocery shopping time. Yes, you heard that correctly. We only go grocery shopping once a month because we live in the middle of nowhere. All right, first things first, check what's in the fridge, which you can tell is literally nothing. Then I'm going to jump in the car and we're going to drive to the grocery store, which by the way takes 4 hours. Side note, how beautiful is this drive? All right. First things first though, I gotta grab a coffee. There is no coffee shop where I live, so whenever I have an opportunity to grab one, always do. All right, gotta get all the essentials, fresh food, super important. Then we left. Just as we were leaving, it started to pour with rain and we literally got so drenched. Then we filled up with fuel that was way too expensive. It started to massively storm, so we just decided to wait it out with burgers and margaritas before we got back on the road. And of course the rain followed us home and literally everything, including us and all of our groceries, got soaked, but it doesn't matter because now our fridge is full. Why would you want to live in a place that's hundreds of kilometers from the nearest grocery store? Why would you do that? But to be honest with you, the answer is really simple. This is my backyard. And sure, we might not have restaurants or bars or cafes or nightclubs or really anywhere to go out. But if I'm being completely honest with you, I think I would take living here over moving back to the city any day. And maybe I'm biased, but I think this might be the most incredible place on earth. Do I have any neighbors? Yes, I have neighbors. All of the other teachers that live here sort of live in the same kind of area. We're just dotted around. We don't really have any streets though, so we're just kind of plonked around. But yes, I do have neighbors. All the other teachers who work here. I've recently been really sick, so I wanted to share with you what happens when you get sick in a place where there are no doctors. On Friday, the closest emergency clinic dropped off a little care package for us. Just got some Panadol, Nurofen, Hydrolyte, that kind of stuff. While the nurses were here, they also just did some checks like our temperature, our blood oxygen levels, and they were basically assessing if this was an emergency or if we were okay to stay home. Thankfully, neither me or my fiance are that sick at the moment, but what happens if you get really sick? The closest hospital is 2.5 hours away, and the closest ambulance service is 1 hour and 45 minutes away. It's not close. Say hospital, but it is actually teeny tiny and really does not have the facilities to cope in an actual, real, serious emergency. Do not make these mistakes when traveling in the Australian outback. Getting in your car and driving anywhere without packing at least some water. I usually take 10 liters of water whenever we are going anywhere. You never know what's gonna happen, and if you were to break down in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the bush, and you did not have any water with you, and you were out there for an extended period of time, you would literally not survive. And whilst we're on the topic of breaking down, if something does happen with your car, do not for any reason walk away from your vehicle. Not only could you get incredibly lost out there, you also have to contend with the extreme heat, snakes, and spiders. And that's just to name a few things out there in the outback that are literally trying to kill you. Not to mention, if search and rescue sent out a helicopter to try and find you because you're lost in the outback, it is so much easier to find a car than it is to find a teeny tiny little human. Ignoring one of these signs is probably the dumbest thing you could do. When you see a sign like this, fuel up. I don't care if you have half a tank, 3/4 of a tank, a basically full tank. If you see a sign that looks like this, just fuel up. These signs are no joke. And when they say no fuel for 200, 300, 400 kilometers, they mean it. And not only is there no fuel, also going to be nowhere else to stop for snacks, for water, for the bathroom, or you could just pee outside. If you've never been to the Australian outback, it can be incredibly hard to fathom just how big it is, and not only that, how long it actually takes to get from one place to the next. It is so remote out here.